Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the second day of workshop. We are here again for something very exciting and interesting. And today we are extremely honored to have Ms. Manvi Singhwal with us. She is the product designer at Classcover and the former GirlScript regional head. Let's give her a warm virtual welcome as we dive straight into an enriching session ahead. So, before we start, let me make few things clear again. Please be interactive, everyone. Take as much as you can from her. Please feel free to ask her your doubts. You also have your chat box with you. You can anytime put up questions over there. Please cooperate and enjoy the entire workshop. All the best, everyone. Now, I would like to request Ms. Manvi to start off with this workshop. Thank you.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. I hope I'm visible, right? I mean, obviously I'm visible. I'm audible, right? Can you please just put in a chat like if I am completely audible to you all? Awesome. Cool. So first of all, like I'm obviously really excited to be here. So thank you so much for inviting me. So like I'm genuinely following like everything that has been happening around this community, and I'm like really good. Like it really feels good to like see such events happening, and you all like taking initiatives and like attending such workshops. So like it is genuinely I mean heartwarming to see. So like a huge kudos to everyone who is like involved in this community. um so let's begin. First of all, a huge hi to you all, especially today. Like it's a holy eve, but like I'm glad that already 35 people are here. So happy Holi, everyone. I was literally making gujiyas like half an hour before. So I just wrapped up everything and just directly came to this workshop. Um, so um, I think if I talk about like my journey in community, so I already have like 4 years of experience as a product designer, and it is all started with communities only. So if you all are like taking participations in such community events, attending workshops, so it is like genuinely good for you all, and it is definitely going to impact you or like in a long run. So I'm like genuinely happy for you all. So thank you so very much for being here. So and obviously I mean this is a virtual event, so definitely uh, you guys only have like this chat box, or if you guys want to unmute or ask anything, please feel free to do so, okay? But otherwise chat section is there, so if you guys have any doubt or anything you want to ask, just feel free to write. I will be like happy to take everything, like every doubt of you all in the session like ongoing. So I just don't want to like bulk up questions, so I'll just keep on checking the chat box, okay? So I think like we can start. So I'm just sharing my screen. Do let me know if it's visible, and I hope like English is fine with you all. Screen is visible, right? It is visible, okay, cool. So as you all know, today we are going to talk about like UI UX design, because obviously I'm a designer. What else I can talk about? So a little introduction about myself. So I'm Manvi. So currently I'm working with ClassCover as a product designer, and previously I have worked with another startup. So I think it's been 4 years, and I am working with edtech industry only. Um, Before I was a Curl Script regional head Delhi. Um, so as I already mentioned that everything that I am, I owe it to the community, because community gives us confidence, and it makes us whatever we are today. So I genuinely am a big supporter of tech communities. So today we are going to cover what is UI UX design, what are the importance of UX UI design, principle of design, design process, and how to get started. But before getting into presentation, I just wanted to know what are the experience level? How many of you already know what UI UX design is? Are you guys beginners or advanced? So just wanted to understand. So I'll take the um, workshop in that manner only. Can you all just type in the chat box, please? Okay, basics of Figma. Can I get like 10 answers at least, so that I'll just take that as a maturity and then start with beginner. Beginner. All right, cool. So this is our today's agenda, basically. So let's start with the basic. What is UI UX design? Because when people come to me and they ask, so the first thing that they ask, what is the difference between UI UX design, and they are just generally like very confused between these two terms. They always like take it as one, that UI UX designer is just one thing and they do exactly what one another are doing, but it is exactly not the case. These both terms like little different. So we will first understand what is like UI UX design. So when you get into it, just ask two questions. So everything is evolving behind these two questions. What do we want our users to experience, and what is the feeling we want to elicit when they use our product? So these are the two things. So first, like, what is UI and what is UX? Okay, so UI, when we talk about UI, we focus on looks, and it is exactly what users see. Let's take an example. I really hope that you guys use Instagram regularly, or maybe Facebook, or maybe WhatsApp, whatever. So whenever you open that app, whatever you see, that images are coming in circles, that text, and how you see everything, the typography, the text, the colors, everything that you are seeing is UI. But on the other hand, UX is how things work. So let's take an example of Instagram. If you want to search anything, you will directly click on the search bar and you will type, and how that thing is working, right? If you have to send a message to anyone, you will go to the chat box, icon, and then you will type. So this is a process, right? So this is what UX designers do. They experience the flow, right? So it is about creating hassle-free experiences for the users. So when we talk about UI UX, we always keep our users in mind. So for this, empathy is important. Empathy, as in, if you are not an empathetic person, then I'm sorry, but you won't be a designer. You should not be a designer. But if you are empathy, if you have an empathy, if you are an empathetic person, you know how to treat others, you know how you have, if you are feeling what other person is feeling, then obviously you can be a good designer. So these are the basic terms. So UI is basically everything that you are seeing on screen in simple words. Okay. Um. So basically in UI, we make things attractive, but obviously at being attractive doesn't mean that you make it like really hard for users to see or make certain things, because I am sure there might be like some apps that you all will get difficult to process, and also maybe on some product, the a text size might be too loud, the text color might be too loud, that you are unable to see certain things. So all of this thing come into UI, and then UX is definitely process how amazingly we can create and hassle free experiences for our users. So let's take an example of Swiggy. So Swiggy is one of my favorite product, to be honest, because I just genuinely love everything that they're doing around it. The UI and the UX, obviously. So let's take an example. So when you click on Swiggy, so this is the first screen that you will see, right? So everything that you are seeing, that these banners, free margarita pizza and whatever. So these banners, this is what UI designers do. They make the layout, how certain things will look like when a user will see. But what UX designers do, if you look at the second screen, you will find that they have introduced a new feature that now you can discover similar restaurant easily. Let's say this first particular restaurant is your favorite one, and you want to, but you have to buy certain dish and it is not available at the moment, but you want to find a certain sort of restaurants who are buying, or selling this particular dish. So they have introduced this particular feature that you can now discover similar restaurant easily. So when you will click, so this is the user experience, right? This is a newly designed feature, so they are informing user that this is something that you can check via tooltip. So what is this tooltip? So when you click on this three dots, this is menu, and when you click on this, you will be able to see three options: so similar restaurants, add to favorites, and hide this restaurant, right? So what is this feature? Show similar restaurant. So when you click on this, you will be able to see similar restaurants based on this particular one. So this is UX. So this is what UX designers do. So everything. And if we'll take an example, let's say food delivery only, right? If you are accessing Swiggy, I guess the only end goal of you is to order something, right? So from opening the app to ordering, what is the flow is what being done by a UX designer. But whatever you are seeing, how you will be able to see things, how beautifully they have arranged the layout, this is all being done by a UI designer. This is a simple, difference between these two. I hope it is clear, right? I hope the difference is clear. Can you all please type if the difference is clear to you all? Awesome. So let's move on. So this is like famous quote that says, "Great UI design is just about pixels and color. It is about crafting experience that speak directly to the soul of the user." As I have mentioned before starting this presentation, that the number one skill, the number one thing that should be in you is empathy. If you are not empathetic, then you, according to me, you can never be a good designer. So everything that is evolving around design is empathy. So obviously it is UI design, UX design, it is not at all about making pixel or colors. It is about crafting experience. Craft that beautiful experience that speak directly to the soul of the user. For this you have to do a lot of research, lot of competitive analysis. Your design process should be like crystal clear. So if you are creating something that is directly speaking what your users want, then you have created a great product. So yeah, and obviously UX design is about solving problems through empathy. So for UX design, you have to solve users problem through empathy. You have to keep yourself in users shoes and try to understand their pain points, what their pain points are, what they're feeling, what they want to get solved, and then work on it. So empathy is like really important. Obviously, like empathy is important if you want to be a good person. Then if you want to be a good person, if you are a good person, then obviously you might have empathy in you, right? Okay, so moving on, how UI affects the UX of a good product. So this is also like really important to understand. Now we know the difference between UI and UX. So, and people, I think now that these two terms are like really different. now we'll understand how UI will affect UX and UX will affect UI. Okay, so um, if I'll talk about this, let's try to understand it in this way, that let's take an example of an product where a UX designer did a great job in understanding user problems. They have um, did the UX research beautifully, created the user flows. I mean, the experience that the user want, a UX designer did exactly that, right? But when they install that particular application, let's say it is an app, right? When they go to App Store and install that app, but now they are unable to understand anything. The color theory is not like matching. We are using okay, let's take an example. Will you be able to read a yellow text on a white background? Will you be able to read? I just need an answer for this. No, exactly. You won't be able to read this. So I mean, if the flow is nice, everything is good, flow, I mean, whatever the user wants, the flow is exactly like that way. But UI is like really bad. User is unable to see anything. Obviously, while creating UI, we also have to be like really careful about the accessibility, because there might be people, I mean, a different age group people might be using. If we'll take an example, if we'll take an example of Instagram, then obviously from 8, I think now children also like using Instagram, and people till 60, 70, or maybe even more people are on Instagram nowadays. So it has to be like really accessible. The text should be like really visible to the user. It should be readable. So we have to take care of all of these things as well. So now let's go back. UX is good, but UI is bad. Nothing matters. Everything is gone into vain, right? So this is an example of how UI is like, making like really is not making the UX of a product. It failed, deliberately failed. Now, if we talk about UI is really nice. Everything is on point. User install the app. They are able to see great interactions. Everything is on point. But UX is bad. Let's take an example again. Um, let's take an example of an e-commerce app. Let's say, so there is a famous app. I don't want to name anything. Let's assume anything, a new app that have come to the market recently. So user went to the app store, they installed the app. Now the UI is really nice. I am able to see great interactions and everything is good. But if I'm going to an e-commerce app, my main goal is to buy anything, right? Now I am looking for myself, let's say some makeup product maybe. So I just type anything, but I'm unable to find a search bar. Can you assume, if I'm unable to find a search bar, then obviously that app is of no use for me. So this is how a UX is affecting UI. I hope it is clear, right? How they both like affect each other, how UI and UX should go like hand in hand, right? Awesome. So let's take an example. So this is a screen that I have created just to make you guys understand what I'm talking about. So this is a screen, right? Now I have created. Now let's see. First issue, what you can able to see on the screen is accessibility. How accessibility? I have my eyes are weak. Literally, I wear glasses, but just for the fashion. Currently, I'm not wearing it. But if you'll see, like in a start campaign, it is written in white on a yellow background. So obviously, it is not accessible. At least for me, I'm unable to see it. Right. So this is the first problem in the screen, accessibility issue. Another one, inconsistency. It is like really inconsistent. So like things are going here and there. um if we'll talk about like hierarchy, so there should be like certain sort of hierarchy. We'll talk about it later in the design principles. I will cover that as well. But so, and then another thing is CTAs are like too close. Now there can never be a two CTAs like side by like two primary CTAs. So primary is, so there are two type of CTAs, primary and secondary. But as you'll see, both the CTAs are filled. That means they are primary CTAs. So two primary CTAs can never be together. Another issue. And also it is mobile space is like really less, and these two buttons are like really close to each other. So people might click on any of the CTA by mistake. So these are some of the problems that we can see in the screen. Obviously, might be the UX is like really good, as I said, but if UI is not great, is not up to the point, because obviously, I mean, first user will see, and then they will do certain things. So if both of the things are like not coming together, then obviously it is of no use. So I hope it is clear. So these are some of the problems in the screen. So it is like cherry on the top. So make both of the things together, take UI and UX together, then only you will be able to make a great product. So this is just GIF to make it all light. So cake, obviously it is dinner time, I'm hungry, I hope you guys too. So the moral of the story is, it is very important to understand that UX and UI do go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. But it is not important that you need both of the skills. Like, see, these two, I mean, UI designer and UX designer, you have to work together, but it doesn't mean that you need to learn. If I am a product designer, so I do both UI design, UX design, and I also think around product as well. So that is what product designer do. But if you want to be a UI designer only, you just love to work with pixels and doing all of that colorful thing and making amazing interfaces for the user. But in this case, you don't have to be learn UX, right? But obviously, if you are working on a product, you have to work together to make a beautiful product. But you don't need to learn UX design skills if you want to be a UI designer, and you don't have to learn UI design skills if you want to be a UX designer. So this is just a meme to make you guys understand that when we do it your way, it will be ugly, right? This is what UI designer is saying. But what UX designer is saying, when we do it your way, it will be confusing. So please work together. We are as a team. So that is why if you want to make a product that is exceeding, um, if you really want to make a product for user specifically, so you all have to work together, UI designers, UX designer, and PM, and obviously developers, we can't miss them. So so if you'll work together, you will find a way to make it ugly and confusing. No, that is not a case, to make it like beautiful and like really usable for the user. I hope it is clear till now. I hope now you understand what UI UX design is and how they're affecting each other and how you guys have to work. I mean, how they both have to like work together to make a usable product. I hope it is clear till now. Any doubt like till here, if you guys like need any justification or clarification, anything on anything? Okay, Rajdeep, I'll take this question at the end because I mean, this is something different, CSS and UI UX designs. But I will definitely take it at the end. Should I move forward? I hope that you guys don't have any doubt till here. Cool. So now just quickly understand that what are the responsibilities of UI designers. So what UI designers do, they do visual designs. They play with colors, typography, contrast, alignment, and all of that thing. Whatever you are seeing on the screen, it is being taken care by UI designers. They do wireframing and prototyping. Wireframing is, I'll talk about it later. They do responsive design. They should be empathy. There should be empathy in them. They should be collaborative, and their communication skills should be like top notch. They should be creative, and their problem solving skill should be there. I mean, see, if we are designers, then definitely we have to be problem solver. That is what we do. Like, we solve things for our users. So these are the some of the responsibilities of UI designers. And what UX designers do, first and more foremost skills for being a UX designer is empathy. If you are not empathetic, then I'm sorry, you can't create a good product. Then they do qualitative user research and quantitative user research. There are some like upper level things. If you'll get into UX design, then you will understand. But I'll just quickly make you guys understand that what is qualitative UX user research. So what UX designer do? They conduct user research. So see, if you're creating something, some product, let's take an example. Um, let's understand that we are creating a food delivery app. We have some great ideas, and we want to design a food. We want to launch a food related app, but we know that in the market we already had a lot of competition in this industry. We have Swiggy, we have Zomato. Now if we are launching this another app, then obviously there should be some feature that should not be there in Swiggy or Zomato, right? So for this, we have to conduct user research. We have to talk to the users. We have to understand that what are there something that they're not finding good enough in Swiggy or Zomato, and then you know then we'll collect our problems of the users, and then we will start working on them. We do user interviews. We talk to our users. We try to understand their pain point, and we try to understand what they want, their behavior, their motivation of using a particular product. So this is a qualitative user research. There are various methods. When you get into it, you will figure out a lot of methods what all UX designers do. Another thing is quantitative user research. In this, we conduct surveys. So surveys is basically surveys happen in like many ways. Let's say if we launched a particular feature, we want to understand from the users if they are enjoying this particular feature, then also we conduct surveys. If we figure out that there are something that users are not enjoying, then also we do surveys to collect the user feedbacks. So this comes under quantitative user research. Another thing is product analytics. This is something, connecting data and all of that thing. We watch session recordings. There are many platforms that let us do so. One is UXCam. So what it does, so basically this is a product, so we installed or render that into our product, and it let us download the user's recording, right, the user session. Now later on, it keeps on recording, and designers can go and watch the user recordings and understand that what is the user behavior, on what steps they're lacking, and they're not understanding something. So this is also common to this particular research. UX Cam is one. There are many other products as well. And then another product is Clarity as well. It is like by Microsoft, I think. And then we test, like we do A/B test to analyze user behavior. A/B test is basically so sometimes we as a designer think that we think that there might be two different solution of a particular problem, but we were not sure that what our users will like. So to test this, we do A/B testing. So to some users we show some feature, the other solution, and to some user we show some other solution, and then we check the result of that A/B testing to analyze the user behavior. This is another one. right? So this is what UX designers do. This is some sort of user research. Obviously, there are many more things, and this process will keep on changing. Then information architecture. Information architecture is simple a mapping. Let's understand this by mapping. So in information architecture, we map that, a rough sketch of a particular product. If we are talking about food apps, so we create information architecture in such a way that, user will log in, and then while logging we have to show them email, and then they have to put their password and all of this things. So a complete map of a product is information architecture. Wireframing and prototyping. Wireframing is like, rough sketch. So for doing this, I personally prefer like pen and paper. I just start making rough sketch, and this is how I create. I just love it because, on pen or paper right now also, like I have my diary, so it like really helps me out to write anything and everything. So that is how I like to do wireframing. But we have different product as well that let you, I mean, online wireframing, you can directly go to Figma and start creating like rough sketch. And then prototyping is, I mean, the end thing. When you have made your UI designs, then how that particular thing will feel, how it will look like to the users. So before development, right, we never go directly to the developers. We first create prototypes by our own, to let the other team, like, to check how it works, to take feedbacks from them, to take feedback from stakeholders and all of those things, right? So this is wireframing and prototyping. And then obviously they have to be like really collaborative. They have the communication skill should be like really nice, because obviously, right, we have to convey our ideas. We have to make our ideas reach to people, to our team, to stockholders and all of those things, to all of those people. So obviously this is important. And then obviously problem solving. They have to be like really good problem solver, because ultimately we are solving problems for the user. So these are some of the responsibilities of UX designers. I hope it is clear till now. I have to drink water. I hope it is clear till now. I think it is not difficult for developers to manage complex designing. If the designer is, see, if we are designing something, then obviously we have to keep everything in mind, right? It is not always necessary to create like, top notch interaction and everything. It is not at all that way. So if you're working in any organization, it is going in both of the ways, right? Before, so when I'm working on any product or any feature, before starting, this is what I do, right? I go to my developers, I talk to them that, this is something I'm thinking. It is this possible from the development point of view? Are you able to make it? Or, I mean, not make it, obviously anyone can make it, but is it possible from the tech perspective, from back end, from front end? Is it possible? And if they say that, yes, this can be doable, then only we start working on. Otherwise, we'll think of some other alternative. This is how things work like in corporate world, or when we work on like real products. So yeah. Okay, cool. I hope your question, I hope you got the answer, Rajdeep. Awesome. So now we'll quickly understand, design process. So in the design process, there are like 5 steps. So see, now never think that, this is the final design process. No, design process keep on changing. It is never one. Based on the problem statement we are solving, it the design process keeps on changing. But this is the simplest design process that I generally follow. Number one, understand the problem statement, research and analyze, wireframing, design and test, and then iterate. Now we'll understand. Number one is understand the problem statement. So this is a designer, Matthew Wakeman. He says, if I had only 1 hour to solve a problem, I would spend up to 2/3 of that hour in attempting to define what the problem is. So before getting, if you got a certain problem statement, before directly starting to design. Never do that. First, if you have 2 hours, then spend 1.5 hour maybe understand the problem statement. If you got that, then half of your problem is solved. So it is really an important step. Do not skip it, please. Define the problem first and then try to clearly understand these three questions. Why I am building this? I mean, why is like really important, and then who I am building it for. किसके लिए, right? Who I am building it for, and what I am building, क्या मैं बना रहा हूँ. These three questions are really important. Why, who, and what. If you have answer of these three questions, then you are good to go. Then I don't think so you have any problem while building. You will find like you will get any problem while building a particular feature or product. So understand the problem statement. Next, research and analyze. For this, now you got some idea, you have data about your users. Now understand the market competition. If you are making some feature, obviously there might be some competitors, so understand that competition, why you are making it, for whom you are making. Now you have an idea, so understand market competition. Learn about that particular domain, get inspiration, understand what your competitors are doing. So I mean, in short, research is the key. Okay, so obviously this is what UX designers do, but if you are a product designer, then this you have to do, you have to research. So product designers do all of these things. They make UI, they also do UX, and they closely work with product managers. They deeply understand what their product is doing. So for product designers, we have to make a great balance between our product and obviously users, because users are our topmost priority, but product is also our priority. So we have to bring up the solution that balance these two things nicely. Another thing is wireframing. Now you have the research, now you understand the problems, everything is good to go, start wireframing. So obviously there are no correct way of doing it. You can directly go to any, there are like many free platform for doing it, but I always prefer my pen and paper. I start like designing, I just start making layouts. So wireframing is low fidelity designs, right? Very rough. You don't have to make top notch UI, just rough. Just start layouting, just start making, what you are thinking and how you are thinking that, it should be like that. So just start doing that. Then design. Now you have like made wireframes, now you can start with the design. So for design, there are many tools: Adobe, Sketch, Figma is like my most favorite, so we use Figma. I mean, I think most of the designers use Figma. So for design, you have to, I mean, design is like, final design, obviously. So for this, you have to select a theme, what colors you are about to use, your typography, what icons you should use. There should be filled icon or unfilled icon. So this basically user interface, right? And for that also, you have to keep user experience in mind, right? That how the user experience should be. As I said, both things are very much related. So keep both of the things like very, very, very closely, UI and UX. Then last one is iterate and test. So that is get real feedback. Now you have designed it. So for this, go to your team members if you have, or maybe directly go to your users and start doing testing, user testing. For this, maybe you can create prototypes, right? And you can start testing with them. If whatever you have designed is making sense to them, are they able to operate? For this, do user testing. Do not, I am not in a favor of directly pushing, I mean, directly making it live to all of your user. No, never do that. Take feedback first, because in this state you will be able to understand what things user are not, because it is always a bad idea. I mean, if you are just making it live and then user are complaining about it. But if you have some sort of time, I think you should invest in doing some real user testing. It will give you some feedbacks also, and it will help you improve. So obviously always take real feedbacks. So with all of these things, always keep in mind, In UI UX design, we always place the user at the center of our thinking. Whatever we are making, we are just making for users, not for ourselves. Okay, it doesn't mean that if you are making something, obviously whatever we do, we like it, but no, you are not making it for yourself, right? It doesn't make sense to you. It should definitely make sense to your users. So process is not one size fits all. Process keep on changing. It is not that you will follow this. No, based on the problem statement you will get, it will keep on changing. UX design requires process, not just tools. UX design is not about tool. Figma will not work. It is all about process, right? So these three things please keep in mind while designing anything. um so is it clear? You guys have any doubt till here? I hope that process is clear. Design process. Cool. Reminder, keep drinking water. Okay. So moving on. Obviously, these all things I'll talk about while we'll go to Figma, and then we'll try to create some sort of design, and I'll make you guys understand these things there as well. But these are some of the principles of design. Type of UI design, basically typography, color theory, visual hierarchy, spacing, and alignment. These five things are like really important. So when I talk, so I'll just quickly take you all like through these things. So if I talk about typography, there are two types of fonts: serif fonts and sans serif fonts. So how many of you all directly pick up any font and start designing? How many of you all think that this is how designers work? That they pick up any font and start using that in their interface. In their designs. How many of you all think like that till now? Yeah, this is a basic thing. So many of the people think that we can pick up any font and start designing, but no. There are two type of fonts: serif fonts and sans serif font. For serif fonts, there is some sort of decorative stroke at the end. If you will notice Instagram, that this decorative thing, Pinterest, there are some of the examples: Coca-Cola, Pinterest, and all of those things. So these people use serif fonts. Okay, so serif fonts give us a feeling of trust, reputable, established. If we want to make our product seem serious, so that is in this case when we use serif fonts. On the other hand, sans serif, they are very clean. If you'll see LinkedIn, Facebook, Hulu, City, Airbnb, all of these brands are using sans serif fonts. So these are like really clean and very precise, and so this is like friendly. If we want to make our product seems friendly, informal, and casual, so like very approachable, so that is when we use sans serif fonts. So always, if you are like creating any sort of product, always try to understand that what value you want to create while building your product, and then understand that. Talk to your stakeholders, and then talk to your team, talk to your CEO, maybe marketing people, and try to understand that if with their product what sort of value they want to provide, and then choose any sort of typography and move ahead. So this is the like rule to select any sort of font. Then color theory. Now, never ever just pick up any color and start using in your interface. No. In design or in general, each and every color defines something. Okay. For example, my favorite color is black. So black um signifies authority, power, wealth, sophistication. And white, on other hand, white means purity, simplicity, virtue, and innocence, right? So each and every color defines something, signifies something. So that is how it is being used. If you'll remember, I mean, if you'll know any of the product, let's say, Instagram, it is like pure white and black. They are not using any sort of color. So maybe this is what they want to, they might be have like some sort of significance with these two color. Their product might significance any sort of things here. So that is how you should pick up any color and start doing it. So each color signifies something. So that is how color should be picked up in the in your UI design, in your project, right? And then visual hierarchy. So visual hierarchy is like really important. So visual hierarchy means like, in two terms. Number one, in color, and then in font size. So like, this is an example, simple. So if I'm reading this, let's say, that is how, in any website, this is how it works, right? So the most bigger font that you have used, obviously as a user I will read that. So what you will read in this particular example, you will read this first, and then you will read this first, because obviously in hierarchy wise this is less important, and then you will just read this one, and then at the end you will be able to read this one, because obviously this is like really small. So this is visual hierarchy. That is how you should always keep in mind that what you want your users to read first, you should emphasize on that first. So that is how you should create your visual hierarchy. And same goes with colors as well. So if you'll see that, obviously yellow is like really heavy to my eyes, so I will definitely read that first. This is like most important to me, and then obviously this is less important to me, and this is like really least important to me. So this is visual hierarchy. um so any doubt till here? Then we'll go to Figma and we'll, like, see how I mean, I'll try to make you guys understand a few more things that is like important, and that will help you guys like to get started in it. Cool. Let's get to Figma, and let's try to understand certain things, right? um so this is a design that, we are going to make today. So I've already created it, but okay, let's delete it. So this is something that, we are going to duplicate. Okay. So if you guys want to like follow along, then definitely feel free to do so. But or just look at my screen and just, understand, or maybe if the session will be like available afterwards, feel free to go back and just um, follow along. So this is a basic, Figma. This is how it Figma looks like, right? So first let's take any frame, right? So these are frames. So if we want to design anything, then obviously first we have to take some sort of frame. So let's say now we are going to create like some, desktop design. So we have to take some desktop frame, right? So this is behind with this, arrow icon, there comes this frame sort of thing. So you have to click on frame, and then on right hand side you will be able to see different thing. Like if you have to take phone frame for anything, phone, tablet, desktop, presentation, watch, paper, social media, Figma community archive, or whatever. So now we are creating design for a desktop. So I'll go to desktop. So the basic size for creating anything desktop is desktop only. So pick this, this is the basic size. So if you want to create anything on the desktop, then please choose desktop 1440. Okay. So now we have this ready. Now firstly rename it hero. Okay. So the top of the any website is called as hero section, so that is why I have renamed it as hero. You don't have to do anything, just double tap on it and start renaming this particular thing. Now, if you are designing anything, first thing is to give it a layout. So layout will help you make your design like aligned well, give it a proper spacing. So layout grid is, it will give a good like alignment, and also it will help to create responsive designs as well. So always make sure that take layout grid. So layout grid is like 4 and in the multiple of 8, or like 4-point grid or 8-point grid. So what you will click, sorry, so here you will be able to find like layout grid. Just click on plus and then click on this thing. Now at the top you will be able to see grid, columns or rows. Select columns, so it will give you these columns, and then you have to give what sort of columns you want to give it. So for desktop, it is advisable to take 12, but always take it like in the multiple of 8 or 4, right? So for desktop, people generally use 12, so I also use 12, right? And then for gutter, always take like multiple of 8. So it is always advisable to use gutter size 24. So gutter is this space between these two columns, so this is gutter, right? And then you have to give margin. Margin is left and right margin. How, I mean, space you want to give to your web page, like breathable space. So always keep in mind that take it in the multiple of 8. So I am taking it 40, so this 40 I'll take generally. It is completely on you what margin you want to take, so feel free to take like whatever seems good according to your product, or maybe according to the website that you are creating. So this is the basic size that I take. I hope there is no questions. Cool. So let's start making it. So first, let's create this particular navigation. So let's suppose that the now for font size, always make sure that on mobile, on web, it should be, I mean, above 16. Never use below that, because for readability purpose only, for accessibility only rule, always use 16 above fonts. And always keep it in even numbers, never take it in odd numbers like 17, 19. No, always keep it in even numbers. But if you have to go to 16 below, then the last is 12. Never go below 12, please, for accessibility. But I never take below 12 also, like on web. I always take it like 16. So let's say the logo. So this is something, a web page for like cat lovers. So this what this particular thing do, website do, they volunteer for cats and kittens everywhere. Okay, every year, sorry. So the company name is Catty, let's say. So I just start typing, just take this text and start typing Catty. Okay, so the font size that I'm going to take is 16, and I am going to make it extra bold because I want to give it a feel of like logo. So that is why I've kept it like bold, extra bold. Sorry, font I'm using Inter. But obviously based on the product that you are making, always keep in mind that what you are building, why you are building, what feeling you want to achieve by your product, and then use any sort of font. So I'm using 16 and enter an extra bold. Okay, so I'll just keep it over here, and then we'll start making these navigations: home, about us, and location. Okay, so I'll just type home, about us, location. Okay, so I just want to make them regular. And now just make them auto layout. So auto layouts are like really important. For auto layout, what you have to do, auto layout is like really powerful thing. what you will do, just press Shift A. Now it is being converted to an auto layout. Now I'll tell you why auto layouts are important, what they will do. So first, this is like, gap between two elements. Obviously we don't need any gap. This is a single letter, so I will make it 0. And then this is horizontal padding between, like, if you'll see, padding between, like, left and right, so I will make it 0. And then obviously from top and right, then again I'll make it 0. Now why it is important, if you will make it, it will keep on, if you will type bigger words, it will keep on expanding. But with text it is quite difficult, so that is why always keep, like, it will give a nice alignment thing to your design. So always use auto layouts in your designs, right? So this, again, let's do Shift A, 0 0 0, Shift A, 0 0 0. Now copy all of these things, make them like center aligned. Now we'll again use auto layout over here, Shift A. Now these three are different words, so we have to give spacing. Now never use odd spacing, so that is why I'm going to use 24. Okay, now it is on you. If you want to give it 28, if you want to give it 32, it's on you. Do whatever you want to give, but for now I am using 32. Now we have to design a button. Now let's say how we'll design a button. So let's say button, for button it's contact. So I have right contact, I'll press Shift A. Now it's being auto layout. Okay, oh sorry. So we are creating a button. So for button, now obviously we don't need horizontal, I mean gap between any item, because it is just a single single letter. But obviously we need to give left and right padding to our button. So I'll give it, let's say 24. Okay, or maybe 24 is like too much, I'll give it 16. And from top and bottom, again I'll give 16. So this is my, or maybe 16 is too much, I'll give 8. And then I'll click on fill, and I'll change the color to black. Okay, I'll change the text color also to white. So now my button is ready. See how easy it is to create using auto layout. Never use grouping. Sorry, any questions? Okay. And also, like, if you want to give any sort of border radius, then you will be able to see here, like, border radius, just give it whatever you want to, but always in a multiple of 8, even numbers. 4, 8, 12, but never take it like 13, 15, or whatever. So I'm just taking 8 as of now. So this, my button is ready. Now I'll make this also like auto layout. I'll, again, spacing is like 24. Now see, with auto layouts, now it will keep on increasing whatever you will type, right? You don't have to be worried about the width or the height of a particular thing. So this is an advantage of using auto layouts in your designs, right? um so just keep it at the top. So spacing, I'm going to take 24. And now see, for auto, why layout grid? Because now we know that, we have to keep it this like 40 from the left. It will help us align our designs like nicely, right? So this is also like 14. I'll just make them center align. I will click Shift A, auto layout. Now I will make it auto means it will keep on sticking, like, left and right, if we want to like add or make like anything. And also, like, if you want to add any sort of thing, you just have to, make it duplicate, and see, you will able to add things. And it is not like extending from the left, it is just, it is fixed from left and right. So this is the magic of auto layouts. So always try to use auto layouts in your designs, right? So our nav bar is ready. Now we will start, like, we have to make our heading. So for this, type start typing text. So text is love and kindness are never wasted. So now understand the basics of visual hierarchy. Whenever any person will come to our product, obviously we want our heading to shine. So always, so what now comes the picture, like, font color and font size. So what font size you want to take? Maybe 64. Always, I mean, it is completely on you, but always keep in mind to be in even numbers, not in odd, right? So we'll make it bold. And this is like, it is, now you can align it to here. And see, now always keep in mind that what now you can divide it into half and half, or because you have to create these designs in mobile as well, then you have to keep that perspective as well, that you have to convert this design to tablet or mobile. So always take, because in mobile our layout grid is at 4 columns, right? So obviously we have to make this thing in our mobile as well, right? So we have to keep every factor in mind, that it will look how it will look like on mobile. So right now I am fixing this thing in 4 layouts, right? So that is why it is like this. Okay, now I'll just copy this, and I will, so this is our secondary text, so this is primary. Okay, so for secondary I've just copy pasted. Now for secondary, um what I've mentioned before, that keep it 16, never take it like below 16. So that is why maybe you can take it 16, or maybe you can make it 20. It is completely on you. And this is like lines spacing, line height. So always a good idea to keep it auto. Auto is like 24, but it is also like font size into 1.5. So if you are taking font size 20, so multiply it by 1.5, you can use that as well. But safest size is also like, it is good to go, like if you want to, if you don't want to get into it, you will just directly type like auto, and you will be able to make it. Now next is you have to design this button joiners. So for this, what you will do, you will just start typing joiners. What we'll do, we'll shift a, auto layout. We don't need it, but okay, okay. We need left and right. So above, what we have used, I think 16, and top and right we have used 8. Okay, this I have used 4, no sorry, 8. Border radius, I'll use it 8. For fill, I will make it black, and text color I will make it white, and I will make it bold. Okay, so our button is ready. Now we have to make the spacing between these 3 elements. So this, for spacing also, just always take it in even numbers and in multiple of 4 or 8, right? So for this, what we'll do, we'll press shift A. Okay, and I will make it 24. So now easily, our, with auto layouts, our spacing is set like within 1 click. Now I will make it in the middle of this particular hero section. So this is ready. And like, see, always keep responsive design in mind, because obviously you have to design for mobile and for iPad or whatever your user base is using. Now we have to, so I have already downloaded this particular image. So I'll just click on CTRL-C and paste it over, and I will align it like 40 and make it like middle align. Okay, so now my hero section is ready. I make the eye off and see. So this is like really basic. Obviously colors are on you, what color, what you can create any sort of um color palette, or any sort of what feel you want to give while designing this. So it is completely on you. So this is a basic thing, that is how you can put it at auto layout, layout grid, spacing, font size, and everything. Yeah, I think that is pretty much from Figma, but you will keep on exploring. There are like many things, components, but I will always suggest that use auto layouts. Auto layouts are really nice. Never use grouping. Always use things in even numbers. Never take like things in point or in 17, 19, or 21 or whatever. Just take it like in even numbers. So that is how you will be able to see. So see, now things are like really well aligned. And also you can decide that from the top what thing you want to take, how many distance you want to take. It is completely on you. But right now I have just middle aligned. So this is just the hero section. Okay, if you want to make it also like rounded, you can do. I'm giving just 32 or whatever you want to put. Just you are free to do so, but make sure that it is in like even numbers. um any doubt yet till now? Sumit, can you show us an example by making an Amazon fake? Okay, like I mean, it's a big task to be honest, and it's 8:35. Maybe next time. Can you show the wireframe size? Sure. Wireframe as in? I didn't get you. Wireframe size as in? You mean frame? Can you please make it clear? What wireframe size? Are you talking about frames? As in the frame size for text. Okay. It's so the most used is like desktop 1440. So always design on 4040. It will like work fine on 1280 as well. So yeah, design on 4040, 1440, and it will be like good to go on MacBook Air, the shortest one, 1280. So yeah. I don't think so. There is an option in Windows as well for frame. I think the layout is pretty same on Mac and uh, Windows. You will be able to find it at the top only with the arrow icon, or maybe just try to press like F. You will be able to find. See, 1920 and 100 1080 is like for desktop, like bigger desktop. So I don't think so. So see, you have to keep in mind that you have to check what all of majority of the users are using. But in 1920 you can make it like middle aligned, right? It is of not a big issue, but it is like for bigger desktop, like a whole huge ass like uh, laptops. So the basic size is like 1440, because that is I think 16 pixels um one. So it will like logically compressed up. If someone is using like in 1920, it will be like middle lined anyways. Just a lot of like white space. How to make custom shapes in Figma? uh, Shapes. So if you'll click on this with frame icon, you will be able to find like different shapes. So you can click on rectangle, you will be able to make rectangle. If you click on line, you will be able to make lines. If you click on arrow, you will be able to make arrows. Ellipse, polygon, and star. So there are a lot of shapes, so you can play around it. And also like if you want to create something from scratch, you can start. I mean, you can make it using pen tool, which is like really difficult to master. But if you really love or enjoy doing it, then please practice. I think you will be able to learn this. It is, I mean, I find it like really difficult to use pen tool, to be honest. But if you find it like really interesting, then you can definitely go and try things out. Show an example of using video. What can you please specify what you are talking about? um, some of your projects, just curious. Okay. So if you'll head to um, LinkedIn, you will be able to find my website, my personal website, and you will be able to find some of my case studies, and you can go and check. Yeah. How to blur and section. So there are like, I mean, lot of things on blurring. So this is like effects. So I mean, see, there are a lot of things. So if you'll go on drop shadow, you'll be able to find blurs, and so you have to just go and play around it. And there are certain things, obviously, you can go to YouTube and just type things, and you will be able to find, like, I mean, blur and section. If you're talking about something like top blur or what, if you can just specify what blur you are talking about, then maybe I can show you some examples. Is there a way? See, for 3D effects, there are a lot of tools available in the market, because there are specifically 3D designers available in the market. So I just talked about UI designer, UX designer, and product designers. There are 3D designers who are specifically making just 3D designs, right? So if you are interested in doing 3D designing, then you can go and explore. There are a lot of free available tools as well. Definitely. Can you share some useful plugins for Figma? And to be honest, students chapter, is there a way to have 3D effect? Then obviously you can do it. I mean, Figma is like really powerful. I don't do it because I never found it like useful. So you can go and just go on YouTube, and you will be able to find a lot of tutorials around 3D effect. There are a ton of designers who are creating 3D designs on Figma. Figma is like really powerful. So you can go and start exploring. You will definitely love it. I mean, people are genuinely making nice emojis and whatnot on Figma. So definitely 3D effect, um everything is possible, to be honest, on Figma. There is nothing that you can't do. I'll just stop sharing my screen now. Do you use Spline? No, but I am not into 3D design and all of these things, so I don't use it, to be honest. Which one is better, Adobe Illustrator or Figma? Both of these things do different things. Okay, for Figma, it is basically for UI design and all of this thing. But people who are into creating illustrations, they use Adobe Illustrator. So both of these things are different. I can't say which one is better, because obviously for Illustrator, their holy thing is like obviously Adobe Illustrator, but for us as a designers, we use Figma, right? So for us, Figma is important. Uh, should we use 100% or 125%? It is 100%. I hope you are talking about screen size, right, Aniket? Yes, 100%. 125% is like, for, if you'll keep on like pressing plus, so it will, the screen size will start getting bigger. So that is where responsive design comes in picture, right? So when while designing, make sure that your design works fine in iPad, in mobile, or on every desktop size. So you have to keep in mind everything. So if you will create anything, if you will go to any product and you will start resizing, then you will see that that particular product is responsive. The responsive means they are working on each and every screen size. So that is why always make it like really responsive, designed for each and every screen size. So that is why you should always use layout grids. Okay, I'll come to this question now. What is the difference between UI UX designs and CSS styles? So see, there so as you know, first we as a designers create designs, right? And then it went to developers, right? Then developers start writing HTMLs and CSS. So I'll just share my screen again. Sorry. And I'll just give you an example. Oh, my screen is visible or what? Yeah. So now, if you will click on this particular thing, right? And you will go to, they will have disabled that. Strange. Okay, they have made it actually paid. Okay, they have made it paid. Okay, so basically they have made it paid. So, but in Figma, we had this feature that, you know, if you want to check CSS or HTML of particular thing, then we can click on any sort of any layer and we will be able to find code for that particular thing. But now Figma had made it paid. So CSS is how it will look. I mean, CSS is definitely right. Developers do it. Developers write it because designs are, you know, lifeless. But developers gave our designs life. So they code, right? They do HTML, CSS, and then whatever for front end, then for back end. So this is what CSS is style. So it is like, you know, it is not a programming language. Please forgive me. But it is just a style, you know, for styles, for make it life. So this is what CSS designers, I mean CSS, yeah, they are designers only. But there was a like huge controversy. People used to call CSS programming language. Switch between on the top, the switch button on the top shows the code. Yeah, but it is actually, but it is paid now. So you have to be a paid user if you want to access that particular features. But I'm not a paid user on Figma, so that's why I'm unable to access that particular feature. Any tips for determining? Yes, yes, students. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It was not paid, but like few days back they have made it paid. So in our organization we are using it like for free, but now they have made it paid. So we have to buy that particular subscription. But now it is paid, unfortunately. But it was like a really amazing feature, to be honest. I mean, we are making like pixel perfect designs while using that. So nothing. I mean, our developers directly go to Figma and copy the entire CSS and put that in their code, and it works like really nice and like nicely. So that was a good feature. So that is why, I mean, people are using it. That is why Figma made it like paid. Exactly. I just loved it, to be honest. And I'm like really sad that they had made it paid. Now we have to, obviously, I mean, it is useful, so we'll buy it. Or if we won't buy it, then there are other platforms as well, like Zeppelin and all of that. So they also do that. You know, you have to upload your designs to Zeppelin, and then you can directly copy paste that HTML or CSS on any other code, and then put that to your thing, and it works fine. I mean, we'll figure it out, but yeah, I hope you are clear, Rajdeep. You know, UI, UX, and CSS. Pritanshu, any tips for determining grid size? Uh, can you, I mean, specify? I mean, can you just elaborate your question? Because I'm just, I think this is half of the question. I just wanted to understand what you're talking about. Determining grid size. Are you talking about? I mean, obviously, you're talking about layout grids, but You hear Pritanshu? If you want, you can just unmute and maybe you can talk. I have the same question layout. Like, suppose I'm designing a hero section, but I can't determine how to make it symmetric. Okay. Um, See, for desktop, the layout grid is just use it 12. This is a size, specific size. So most people use the count, I mean, the column size count to be 12. Margin, it is up to you, but take it in the multiple of 4 or 8. So 8 5s are 40, multiple of 8, that is why I have kept it 40. And gutter size, again, multiple of 8, 8, 16, 24, it is up to you. But the most used and recommended gutter size is 24. So that is why I have keep it 24. So now this is how it will work on desktop. On mobile, it is 4. Mobile, the column size, the column should be like 4. Margin, it again in the multiple of 8 or 8. Gutter is recommended 8. So in the multiple of 8, recommended 16. So always keep it 16. Margin up to you, but it is recommended that take margin on mobile 16, or people also like use 20, but I always use 16 in my products, in my projects actually. iPad, it is 8 columns, 8. And gutter 16, 8 multiple, 8 8 16. Just always keep in mind 4 or 8, up to you what you want to take. Margin multiple of 8, but I have taken 32, 8 16 24 32. It is on you, but the solid size is 32. So these are the layout grids. Now it will help you create responsive design, because now you know that this, you have taken this thing in 4 columns, so it will work fine here. You just have to make the font size smaller. Obviously 64 won't work on mobile, right? Either you can make it 24, right? You can just make it, or for secondary text make it 16. Now you are good to go. See, it is working absolutely fine on responsive side. You have just copied paste. If you want to take this picture as well, then just copy paste it, make it smaller, and then fix it here. So this is how it will help you create responsive designs like really nicely. So this is why you should always use gutters, I mean layout grids. I hope it is clear now. I hope layout grids are clear to you all. No problem. See, to be honest, I don't design logos because I'm not a logo designer. But I won't say that I will never design a logo. But obviously, because if you are a designer, you can give a certain task anytime and you have to do it. You can't say no. But for logo, it all start with the, I mean, with the research, what you want to make, right? So let's say now there are different type of logos, right? There are terms for different type of logos actually. So if you will search around it, you will understand. So for example, let's take an example of Instagram. So Instagram is not using any sort of image, right? They are just using Instagram, I mean, just they're just using font. They don't have any shape around their logo, just simple text, right? Instagram. If you talk about LinkedIn, so LinkedIn, they have linked and then in a box, right? So these are different sort of styles in the logos. But let me go back to my presentation and see another example. So many of the font, if you'll see like logos, they are just using directly text. But for Airbnb, they are using some sort of shape, right? So these all are the different sort of logos that people make. I am not able to recall what the term is, but first of all, before creating any sort of logo, you have to understand that, this is something that you want your logo to should like. It should be like directly text, or it should be like you need some sort of icon, and then start creating that in your, maybe on pen and paper. Just start exploring, right? And if when you have an idea that, this is how your logo should look like, then maybe come to Figma and start making. If you need some sort of shapes, you can play around it. That if you'll go back, then Max, whatever it is using this sort of star. Then obviously Figma is like really powerful. If you have to make custom shapes, then obviously you can start make them using pen tool, right? I am not good at in it, to be honest, but this is like really powerful tool. You can like play around it and create shapes using pen tools. So you can make anything on Figma, right? You can make anything on Figma, to be honest. But just start exploring what you want, how your logo should look like, and then you can come to Figma and start making it. I hope it is clear. Is low fidelity design necessary always? Yeah, I mean, it is a process actually. You can never skip it, Aniket. You should never. How, I mean, nobody should directly start making high fidelity design. Just start creating um UI. I mean top notch UI, because you should have some idea what you wanted to make. So to to save up your time, it is always a good idea that first do some wireframing, have some idea, and then jump to the UI design. Design process is like that only. So I don't think so. Ideally, you should skip that part. I hope this answers. Yeah. Any other question? Should we choose UI UX as freelancer or as a career? Which will be better? See, to be honest, both of these things are giving you money, but you have to understand that what this particular field is for you. For me, it is my passion, right? This gives me peace. When I go to sleep, it gives me that, sense of gratitude that, I have make a change in someone's life. So for UI UX designing, it is everything for me. So that is why I have made it like my career. So if you see, if you are working, there are like two things around it. First, for freelancers, you are free. You can get to work with different people around the world, right? And obviously you can earn more while freelancing, because in a particular month, maybe you sometimes you can get like 4 or 5 clients, and sometimes you can get 2 3 clients. So it is completely on you how many clients are you will able to like crack. But if you're working somewhere, then obviously you have like certain amount of pay to like apply to that. But some people do freelancing as well while working on a company, because obviously you have like weekends available. You can go and work on weekends if you are working like somewhere full time. So it is completely on you how you want to make it. If you want to, because I am working remotely, to be honest. I'm working with an Australian based company, so we work remotely. All of our team works remotely, so I get time. So whenever I get time, I will be able to find like some sort of freelancing work. I do it. So it is completely on you what opportunities you are getting and how you want to make your life, and what suits best for you. Obviously it is completely on you. There is no debate on it, to be honest. It is completely on you what you want to do, or how you want to make it or take it forward. So you can try, maybe you can try freelancing and see how it goes. Yeah. Any good website for template or components of Figma design? You can go to community Pitanshu. They have like great Figma community. You can go and type. You will get some good templates, and you can just pick and start playing around it. And also, like for inspiration, you can go to. There are a lot of websites available. Maybe you can go to Dribble, maybe you can go to Behance, and there are many others like Overts and all of that thing. You can go and find inspiration, and then you can paste your take screenshots and start playing around it. So yeah, for templates or components, you can go to Figma community. There are a lot of templates available. You guys are like really attentive. I mean, I like it. It's 9 already. Any other questions actually? Or should we just wrap it up? I think that's it, right?
So I hope none of you have any more questions. So, okay. So, as we come to the end of our workshop, I want to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for being so interactive and cooperative. A special thank you goes to our exceptional mentor, Ms. Manvi, for this beautiful session. Your expertise and passion have enriched us all. Now, as we depart from this virtual space, let's carry forward the lessons learned and continue to grow, innovate, and inspire others. The end of this workshop marks not the end of learning, but the beginning of new opportunities and possibilities. Thank you once again for being a part of this memorable experience. Until we meet again, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep shining bright. So, I would like to request every one of you to turn on your cameras so that we can click a picture and post it on our socials, maybe.
I have taken Sajidi. You can carry on.
Okay, then. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Miss Manvi.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
So
you.
good to be here. See you all soon. Bye. Take
See
care
you.
and happy Holi.
Happy Holi.
Same to you. Bye.
Bye.